Warning: the material discussed in this show may be sensitive or a trigger for some listeners. Strong language and topics are discussed. We talk with active duty service members and practice OPSEC at all times. You have been warned.
The Bipolar DM, Jason Cottam. His show talks about Dungeons and Dragons, indie writing, and living with a mental illness, in particular bipolar disorder, borderline disorder, and major depression, among other diagnoses. Check us out right here on Saturdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, also on WLFE-DB.com, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. So take a seat, sit back, and get ready for the Bipolar DM.
Welcome to the Bipolar DM show. I'm your host, Jason. This is a show about Dungeons and Dragons, indie writing, and living with a mental illness, in particular bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, and major depression, among other diagnoses. If you want to get a hold of us, you can contact me through my email, thebipolardm@gmail.com, or through my webpage, www.thebipolardm.com. There you'll find previous episodes of my podcast, links to my current show, as well as resources on indie writing, Dungeons and Dragons, and mental illness. You can also reach us through Messenger, too, if you're on Facebook. If you go to our Facebook page, the link to that is @BipolarDM. This is a bit more up-to-date than our webpage, just because it's an easier platform for me to post videos, articles, and other items from my phone, tablet, and my laptop on a daily basis. If you are a fan of the show, we do have a group page, and that page is called The Bipolar DM Nation. So if you become a fan of the Bipolar DM show, you can become, from there, you can join into the group page and link up there. This is more of a behind-the-scenes look at the show and my life with a mental illness, with my live updates that I try and do on a rather infrequent basis. I'm trying to get better at that. But we do live updates, just kind of what's going on with the show, what's going on with what's going on in my life, and what my struggles are with mental illness. Check us out on WLFE-DB Radio Network as well. There you can watch us live on the Facebook page, as well as WLFE-DB.com's Variety Unlimited page as well. And we're also on Stream TV on the Variety Unlimited channel, as well as Twitch TV. And the link to that is twitch.tv/TheBipolarDM. And there we have both the Bipolar DM show as well as my spin-off show, Bipolar Dragons, where a group of us get together and play Dungeons and Dragons. I am a proud supporter of Safe Space. If you're not familiar with Safe Space, it is a virtual place for you to go to if you're in crisis, whether it's from mental illness, from stress, from bullying, or whatever else that's going on in your life. We're here to listen. Now, we're not doctors, we're not psychiatrists, we're not here to solve your problems, but we're here to listen, and we're not here to judge. So go to WLFE-DB.com. There you'll find the Safe Space logo. Click on that, and we have tons of resources available to help you out in your crisis, whatever it is that you're going through. If you are a veteran and are a podcaster, we are also proud to be a part of and be a supporter of the Veteran Podcast Awards. Now, this is awards for active duty members as well as their spouses and all veterans of all branches of service that have a podcast. And registration is going on until July 31st, 2021. And then after that, voting begins on August 7th. And will be going on from August 7th, 2021 till the 10th of September, 2021, with winners being announced on 5 October, 2021. This is the first annual of the Podcast Awards, and actually the 5th of October is also now a holiday, being National Military Podcast Day. And so please be a supporter of that. Check out the www.veteranpodcastawards.com. There you'll see lots of different podcasts that are available, that are entered in. Check out several of them. Be sure to check out mine as well, and vote for me, and vote often, as much as you can, for my fellow veterans as well. And news and noteworthy, we were going to have a guest on, but unfortunately, it does not look like that person's going to be able to make it. So we're going to be flying by the seat of our pants and doing something a little bit different. Before we get into that, I wanted to talk about some of our other shows that we have available. We have Across the Pond, Card Pools and Coffee with Lindsay, Everything Yet Nothing with T. Roy and Kevin, Inside the Drag Closet, Just Cindy, Meet the Authors, Metal Mayhem, Paratalk Radio, Real Talk with Dom, Step into the Paranormal, The Creepy Parlor, as well as Unfiltered Talk with Bryce, Where's My Sage, Rainbow Soul, Through Kaleidoscope Eyes, and also one of our new shows, Sofa Guys Movie Review. We are having new shows added almost every day. We're getting new shows added, so check WLFE-DB.com for the latest on our updates on our shows that we have going on, and their time slots when they are going to be airing, and look into some of these other ones. There's all kinds of stuff out there for you to check out, and we're also, of course, I had mentioned that we're on Strim TV under the Variety Unlimited limited TV channel. There's also the LGBTQT Friends TV channel, as well as Paranormal View TV. So that's a lot that's going on there. Really happy to be a part of all this. And, let's go ahead and let's just skip ahead to, we got a comment already. Oh, hey. Well, hello, Patricia. Thank you for commenting and saying hello. I'm going to go into, fortunate for me, I have a backup for just in case when something like this happens, when a guest is a no-show. And that is talk a little bit about myself and Dungeons and Dragons and how it's helped me with my mental illness. Now, for those of you who are not familiar or have heard of Dungeons and Dragons but not really sure what it's all about, the latest incarnation of Dungeons and Dragons is basically collective storytelling, where you have the dungeon master who comes up with the plot and the main characters and stuff like that. Oh, okay. Looks like we might be getting Scott on. Okay. Let me go ahead and send him a quick message. Sweet. Well, anyways, Dungeons and Dragons first started back in the mid 70s by Gary Gygax and his friends, and it started out as a war game, and they played miniatures with war games with large unit tactics, reenacting battles such as Waterloo and Civil War battles and stuff like that. And then they ended up getting into smaller unit tactics, and but I will send it again. Okay, hold on here. Sorry about this. Invite. Getting my guest all lined up, so we are jumping on. Sweet. I'm really excited about this guest. He is a best-selling author and also has a Dungeons and Dragons stream of his own. And so, there we go. All right. So, but Dungeons and Dragons started out as a small unit tactics of, instead of using large units, now we're getting down to the individuals. And now you have this individual, and it's like, well, what do you want this individual to do? What do you want them to say? What's their background story? What is it they want in life? And they also decided to make it based on a fantasy realm. Instead of it being military and battles and stuff like that, they decided to have it in a Tolkien-like setting. And in fact, the first edition of Dungeons and Dragons was so much borrowed so much from Tolkien that the Tolkien family and estate sued Gary Gygax and TSR, the company that they had started for Dungeons and Dragons, for them to take back a lot of the things that they had put into their original booklets. And so, if you do happen to have one of those first edition booklets, those things are very rare because they're also very cheaply made too. Gary and his friends kind of put them together themselves with staplers and printed and stuff like that. And so, but later editions though got away from the numbers and the crunchiness of math and stuff like that went into Dungeons and Dragons, and became more of a role-playing game and more about the characters and the story. And so with this 5th edition, which is a very easy edition to get into and learn about, you are not doing so much on the math, but you're doing a lot more on the playing as a character and as an individual. And so Dungeons and Dragons is you're a character in a story. And if you want to think about it this way, imagine if you would, you're watching your favorite movie, or you're reading your favorite book and you're really into it and you wish that you could be a character within that book or within that movie. Dungeons and Dragons allows you to be a character in a story, to have full access to go anywhere you want, say what you want, do what you want. And believe me, I've had players that have gone off the rails and said things and done things that are just outrageous. And, but Dungeons and Dragons allows you to do that and to be a player within that story. And the story is created by the Dungeon Master. And if you want to see how it's played, check out our spinoff, which is Bipolar Dragons. It's on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on wherever you're watching this. We have it on Twitch TV as well, so you can check it out there as well as previous episodes. And I got into Dungeons and Dragons back in the mid-'90s. I had first learned about it back in junior high. When me and my parents were doing our first tour of duty in Japan. My dad was in the Navy, and we did a tour of duty in Japan and at Sugi, Japan. And I picked up this book that was lying on the table, and it was called Dragons of Autumn Twilight. It was a Dragonlance book by Hickman and Weiss, and I just loved the book. It was probably the first long novel that I read cover to cover. For my own enjoyment. It wasn't a assigned reading from school or anything like that. It was just something I did for my own pleasure. And then I found out that it was based on a game called Dungeons and Dragons. And so I'm like, what is this thing called Dungeons and Dragons? And skip ahead a couple years. I never had an opportunity to play, but we were on our second tour of duty in Japan. And Stars and Stripes, which is the bookstore for the military. Here we go. All right. Hey, how you doing, Scott?
Good. So sorry I'm late.
No, it's all right. I was just going over the history of Dungeons and Dragons and kind of how I got into it. So, but it's great to have you on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Scott, and you pronounce your last name Kimak?
Yeah, that's it. You got it right. Thank you.
Yeah. You're the author of the book They Call Him, and you're a best-selling author. And I have a couple of questions I wanted to ask you, such as first, about how many books have you written so far?
Okay, well, I've published 2 books so far. I'm on my 3rd book right now. It's part of a trilogy. I'm about 90% done with the 3rd book, so I'm hoping I should have it finished by the end of this summer.
Outstanding, yes. Yeah, I got 2 books under my belt, and I completely understand. Writing is one thing, publishing it is completely something else altogether.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, that was a whole experience.
Yeah, it's almost worse than the actual writing of the book. Some would say of trying, doing rewrites and editing and line by line, and then you got layout, and then you got your cover you got to work on, and and all this other stuff. So it's a lot of work going into this. And what is this trilogy about?
Okay, well, it's a post-apocalyptic future. And in this future, the world has, basically almost everything has been destroyed. Some of humanity was able, to survive underground in bomb shelters. And the main character of the book, him and his family, survived the apocalypse. But then when they return to the surface, they find that there's this like evil presence that's of demons that's basically taking control of what's left of mankind, and any of the humans that do come to the surface, they're enslaved and they become, slaves to the demon masters. Unfortunately, you find this out right away. This man's family is killed, and it just drives him insane. So he goes on this, just this quest to destroy, these creatures that have hurt his family, and it pretty much just takes over everything that he has left, and he becomes just this killing machine, and that's all he can think about. It's kind of like, I guess, a little bit like The Punisher, that series, but in the future, and
without all the guns,
right? And without all the guns, instead it's with swords. Okay, he's a martial arts master, and so that's it. Pretty much just absorbs him, and he falls into this darkness, though, that he pretty much He doesn't talk anymore. He doesn't communicate with anyone. And so nobody knows who he is. And that's why they don't know his name. And that's why it's called I Call Him, because they just refer to him as, oh, yeah, that's that guy over there. That's him, because they really don't know who he is. And he's going to meet this little girl along the way, though, this very special little girl, which I don't want to spoil too much. And that's when it's going to take a big change, and it's really the story of it. Is it too late where he has gone so far and so dark that he can't come back, okay. and then there's this, epic final battle of, good versus evil. And can he be a part of it? And which side is he going to end up being on? Because, of the atrocities that he's committed himself, will he be on the side of dark, or will he be on the side of light? So it's kind of got this dual Star Wars type thing, Darth Vader thing going on also, So it's a lot of fun, filled with tons of martial arts. I'm actually a martial arts master myself. I've been teaching martial arts my whole life, and so there's a ton of martial arts, of course, in it, and sword fighting, and so it's. I loved like John Carter of Mars when I was a kid, so it's a lot of sorcery type stuff involved in there too, and it's been a wild run. It's a lot of fun.
Now, you did write it from an interesting perspective, not necessarily the third person, but from the individual who is with him, and so who is this person that you're writing that perspective from? Okay,
well, that's that's a little bit of a spoiler also, but the person that is writing the story, I guess what I could say is that he is very close to him. He's a friend of his, and he's kind of the the rational side that's trying to get to him and hold him together and see if there's anything left, or if all he is just this dark, killing machine. And he's the one that's actually telling the story. And then there's one other companion they have too, which is this comedic side. This guy named Bill, who's kind of the comic relief because he needed a little bit every once in a while. Otherwise, the story's just too dark.
Yeah, it does get very intense. It does.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been writing for, as far as your writing career?
Okay, well that's a strange story. I really started writing this. I don't know. God, it's been like about 2 years ago now. Yeah. The first book came out about almost a year ago. So about 2 years ago, I started writing. But I've had this story actually in my head since I was a kid for like 40 years.
Okay.
And I started writing the first few pages. I think I was like 13, 14 years old, and I started writing it. And then I brought it to my martial arts master, who I like idolized at that time. I didn't really know the guy. Found out later on he wasn't someone to idolize, but besides the point, at that time I thought he was great, And so I brought it to him, and I said, "Hey, look what I wrote," And he looked at it and he just kind of laughed at it. He says, "Stop wasting your time on this. Go practice your martial arts." And that kind of crushed me. I was just like, "Oh, okay, forget that." And I never tried writing again until 2 years ago. And I'm a school teacher, so I had the summers off, and I was, just sitting there, couldn't find anything good to watch on TV or whatever. And so I got my laptop out, I started messing around, and I don't know, it just came to me. I said, you know what? I want to see if I can write that story, the one that, I started 40 years ago, see if I can remember it. And I started writing and writing and writing, and I wrote like all day long until my fingers were numb, and then I picked it up and I brought it to my wife, and my wife, she doesn't sugarcoat anything. I mean, if she thinks something's horrible, she's going to tell you. She doesn't care if she hurts your feelings or what. so I brought it to her and I said, "Hey, babe," I said, "Look at this. What do you think?" And she looks at it, and then all of a sudden I see she's getting, teary eyed. And she's like, "Oh my God, this is so good," And I'm like, "Oh wow, well maybe I can write." And that's how it all started. And so So it's a little bit delay, a 40-year delay, but I finally got to it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of same with me too. I mean, I was very big into writing when I was in high school and junior high, and then it wasn't until fast forward, I'm in my late 30s, early 40s when I started writing again, and I've got, my 2 books published. I did while I was manic. Actually, I wrote them and published each one in a month's time. So it was kind of unfortunate. I didn't have a chance really to enjoy the process, but yeah, I totally understand having those stories when you're a kid percolating in the back of your head for 20 plus years, and then finally coming out. And it's so great that the story has come out, because I just started reading it. Very well written so far of what I've read, and I've really enjoyed it so far. And I've got mine on my Kindle, so so your book is available on Amazon, correct?
Yeah, they're both exclusive right now with Amazon. I did have the first book for a while on a couple other things on Smashwords and forth. But I just feel like, Amazon just seems to give me the best results, so then I actually put it back on Amazon. So, yeah, they're both exclusive on Amazon right now.
Oh, outstanding. And then let's see. Well, I was going to ask about any more books in the pipeline, but you already mentioned that you got the third one coming up, which is great to know that's coming up there. Mm-hmm. Now, I wanted to also talk about Dungeons and Dragons too. I had started the broadcast out going into it, but you are also a dungeon master player, as it is too.
Well, yeah. I don't DM. Actually, my son is the DM.
Oh, okay. I hadn't had a chance to watch your stream, so I didn't check out, see how it was. I just know that you have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
We play, and really, my son is the one that he came up with it and everything, and he's the one that runs it. I just play with him as one of the characters. I actually play with two. I have 3 sons, but 2 of them play together with me, and then we have a couple other guys.
Okay.
And yeah, we try to play every Saturday night if we can. We're not playing tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually up in San Antonio. I came up here to visit. That's why I was kind of last minute.
Okay.
I was a little bit late. But
Love San Antonio.
What's that?
Oh, I love San Antonio. I did my medic training there at Fort Sam Houston.
Oh, okay. All right.
So yeah, that was my old stomping grounds, Riverwalk and all that stuff. Whenever we had leave on the weekend pass, I go hit the Riverwalk and Hooters and get a cigar at the cigar bar they have there and stuff like that. But love San Antonio. Yeah,
it's beautiful. I love it too. I don't know. My wife and I are even tempted to. We come up here so often because my son and my granddaughter are here. One of them. And, so we're always coming up here and we're almost tempted. We said that, maybe we'll end up moving up here, or when we retire from teaching, we'll move up here. I don't know. We'll see.
That actually leads into my next question, which is your professional background, which is you mentioned you're a teacher. So what kind of teacher are you?
All right. Well, I teach government and economics, and also actually psychology and sociology. So I teach in 12th grade high school.
Oh, okay.
But I my degree is in social studies, so I've also taught U.S. history. I've taught even 8th grade U.S. history. That's what I do. I just love history. I'm a big history nerd, and that's my thing. I know some people find history boring, but I think it's awesome. I think it's exciting. So,
some of my favorite classes, especially in college, was history. I had one teacher in particular when I was in college who. It was straight lecture, the entire class, but the way he taught it, he told it like a story.
Right.
And he fleshed out the major players in in historical events, not only, what they look like and their personality, but also kind of how they influenced. Okay. It looks like Robert has just picked up a book 1 and 2 from you. So that's great.
Wow. Well, thank you, Robert. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, but the way he taught it was so great, and so it made me really have a love for history. And kudos to you to teach 12th grade, because wow, that's a rough crowd. They got a bunch of kids who think they know everything yet, and then they graduate and.
Yeah. Well, 12th grade wasn't that bad. I think 8th grade was worse. When I taught 8th grade, those 8th graders could be a little rough at times. But 12th grade actually has been pretty pleasant. Just a little bit hard at the end of the year when they're thinking about graduating and their prom and all those things. That sometimes they're like, I'm almost done. I don't need to worry about this turning in assignments anymore. And it's like, better. You're not going to graduate.
Yeah, all for naught if you don't do it. So,
yeah.
All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to a quick break, commercial break, and then we're going to pick back up. We're going to talk about your stream, which is called An Odyssey of Theros. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and go to commercial real quick, and then we'll pick right back up.
Okay, thank you.
Rochester Winter Parafest is back, March 25th, 26th, and 27th of 2022. Come say hi to Naked and Afraid celebrities Melanie Elizabeth and Trent Nielsen, Haunted Case Files Jack Kenna, Monster Quest Steve Coles, and more. This event has it all: paranormal investigators, UFO researchers, Bigfoot researchers, and even photo opportunities for the kids with Buddy the Bigfoot. Oh, okay, adults too. Come on down and get a tattoo from Ink Master Tony DeVille. There are psychic gallery and individual readings, as well as radio personalities, authors, jewelry, makeup artists, and so much more. It's only $15 per person, and children under 10 are free. March 25th, 26th, and 27th of 2022. For more information, go to WLFE-DB.com. Yes, Winter Parafest is back. Valley Oak Event Center, Geneseo, New York, next to Denny's.
Okay, we're back. Now, when did you start playing Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh wow, way back again when I was a teenager. My best friend, still my best friend till today. We talk like, oh gosh, at least once a week. He lives in Chicago though, so we're a little far apart from Southern Texas. But he was like the first kid in the neighborhood to get a computer. This is 1980, let's say. I remember he had like an Apple. I think it was like an Apple IIe or something like that.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, and he got this game called Wizardry, which I don't remember if it was exactly Dungeons and Dragons or not. I'm not sure, but that was I think my first exposure. And he got the game and called me over, and we used to play that thing. Oh my gosh, every night and on the weekends. Like we wouldn't even go out, and do anything. We were just like locked in and playing all day and all night playing that game. And that's when I first got into it. Every once in a while, then years later, every once in a while, I might jump into something or of course played, video games that were Dungeons and Dragons type stuff and things like that. But then seriously, probably it was only about 5 years ago that I had exposed my kids to it a few times. And then my one son in particular, he really got into it. And so he wanted to be a DM and create his own show and all this and that. At first we started just kind of playing as a group of friends, and then all of a sudden he says, "Hey, I want to go live stream and put this on Twitch and on YouTube and make it a little bit bigger." And and so we went for it, and it's been a blast. Yeah, I really enjoy it, and it's something that's cool that I can do together with my kids. Because we can do it online, even if he's 4 hours away, we can still do it. And so, yeah, it's been a lot of fun, to actually do something that kind of keeps the family a little bit together. But also, met some new people and have become good friends of mine now through the game. And so it's been something that's really enjoyable and become a big hobby of ours now.
So what's the first edition of Dungeons & Dragons that you played in?
Oh my God! I way back then, I don't even know. I think it might have been.
Might have been the red box if it was the mid '80s.
Yeah, that's going. Yeah, because it's way back.
Yeah, because I started out in the mid '90s when I started playing in with AD&D Second Edition.
Right. Okay.
So it might have been either the red box, which is first edition, or Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, probably about that time, I would say. But of the different editions of Dungeons and Dragons that are out there over the decades, which one has been your favorite so far?
I really like the one now with 5e. I think it's just that maybe it's because it's the one I've played the most and had the most exposure to now. So yeah, I really enjoy it. I know that
it's a lot easier to play than a second edition was.
Yeah, right. Second edition,
very user friendly.
Yes. I know those were very difficult in those days, and yeah, this one is very user friendly, and it's been. I like that they have some of the new concepts like Odyssey of Theros, where it's more of a Greek mythology type of game. And that's what it's about. Like my character is a Leonin, which is like a lion man type one, and the one that I'm currently playing, and he's a lot of fun. His name is Grexus, and he's very aggressive, almost I would say Hulk-like. Maybe doesn't always think things through, just likes to kind of charge into battle like like a barbarian type. But he's a lion man. And but it's been a lot of fun because of course I like the history part of it too, dealing with Greek mythology and so forth, and with all the Greek gods and so forth. So so that's been really enjoyable. A little bit of a change, this recent one that we're doing. Before that we just did our regular standard. We did like the Curse of Strahd and a few other campaigns, and oh my gosh, what was the one we did before that? Tiamat, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's the
which one is it again? Legend of Tiamat or something? I don't remember what it was called.
I know the title of it. It's just totally escaping me right now. But yeah, it's with Tiamat and Bahamut.
Yes,
I believe the two great old dragons. One for good and one for evil. And and that campaign is about you are going either one side or the other as they do battle, and it's a great campaign setting that's available from Wizards of the Coast. And like right now we're doing a straight homebrew on our stream is what we're doing, and it's just a mini campaign which we're getting ready to. They don't know it, but we're getting ready to tie up. They might know now after watching, but I'm very excited to see how it goes. So,
I'll have to check yours out. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I'm definitely going to be checking yours out. Greek mythology, always a hit and myth to play.
Oh, that's from Robert White.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and we had never tried anything like that. It was kind of our first time doing something a little bit different, and but yeah, it's been really fun. It's nice to change things up and do something a little bit different, and
that's what's so great about Dungeons and Dragons is that you don't have to play a strict Tolkien fantasy world or anything like that. You can play anything. You can play a modern cyberpunk or futuristic. I mean, post-apocalyptic. Whatever your imagination is, if you want to set it up, you can play it with this rule set, and it's been fantastic. 5th edition. Well,
that's actually something we thought of doing, kind of a homebrew, but doing it based off of my books. Actually, that's okay. That's what my sons were saying, to do it in a post-apocalyptic world and kind of try that out. And I said, "Oh wow, that'd be really interesting." So I don't know, we might try that next, but I don't know. We might just do it like as a one shot or something, just to see how it goes.
One shot always turns into a campaign.
Yeah, I don't know, just to see how it goes, and see how people like it or whatever. But that is what's fun, is that you can do so much in D&D. It's never boring. Always something you try. I mean, whatever your mind can think of, you can do it. So.
Yeah, so how much of an influence did, I guess would be mostly on your son, I would imagine, like Matt Mercer and Critical Role and them.
Yes.
A huge influence on me.
Oh, yeah. I watch it occasionally. My son and my two sons that play with it never miss an episode. I mean, they watch it religiously every week. They're
Campaign 3 is coming out, so they just tied up Campaign 2, and so Campaign 3 is getting ready. They just released the commercial for the introduction for Campaign 3, and wow, I remember watching Campaign 1 and how far they have come as far as production and the quality of the show since when they started out on Twitch TV. Geek and Sundry, and because the first campaign is always going to be my favorite. I love that one the most, and that's actually one I'm rewatching right now. Second one, it was okay. I mean, I didn't really get into it as much as I did the first one, but I can't wait for this third one to come out and to get into that and see how they're doing with that.
Right. Yeah, I just would wish that one day our podcast could be that as good as
Yeah, I wish I could get $11 million on a Kickstarter. Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they don't even when that happened to them, they were just like, they just came up. It started out as a home game for 3 years, before it even aired on Twitch TV, and so it's amazing. What I found so amazing is how easily and adaptable Dungeons and Dragons has been to this format. I mean, people wonder, why would somebody watch somebody else play a game? Well, there's shows about people playing video games that we watch. People playing Minecraft and stuff like that. My kids watch it. But to watch grown adults playing Dungeons and Dragons, though, it's like drama, though. It's a 4-hour drama every week, and it's just amazing how adaptable 5th edition has been, and Dungeons and Dragons in general, to live streaming.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of video games, have you seen the new Dark Alliance Dungeons and Dragons one, the one based on the Legend of Drizzt?
No, but I heard talk about it, about that going on.
It just came out a couple days ago. Actually, for Father's Day, my boys bought it for me, and we've been playing it. So I don't know if you've read Ari Salvatore, but I've read like all the Legend of Drizzt novels and stuff. So
I never got into Drizzt, but yeah, if for those of you who are not familiar with it, this is about a dark elf who basically turns his back against his dark elf society and emerges into the world and has to learn to live and adapt into it, and then gets caught up into bigger and greater things.
Yeah.
That's about the gist of it, right?
Yes. I love it because I think it's kind of a play on racism a little bit, because he's a dark elf, and then as he tries to escape, away from, because his, they're supposedly all evil, so escape from his evil society. But then when he tries to be accepted by others, they won't accept him because of the way he looks, and so it takes, it takes a while for him to finally, through his deeds and so forth, to be accepted into this new world. And, I kind of like that, it shows that how people can come together and not judge each other by the color of their skin, which...
Yeah, the content of their heart. Yeah. Yeah,
which sadly has been that's kind of been a big, political thing lately, it's just, and I love seeing now that finally, that they brought a game out like that. And I know there's also a Dungeons and Dragons movie coming out soon. I think it's fine, I heard.
That is another thing I had heard about, but nobody that I've talked to knows for sure about what's going on with that. Though.
Yeah,
so I've talked to several people about it, and everybody's been hearing rumors about this going on, but nobody right now knows for sure what's happening.
Yeah, I'm just curious what character he's going to play. I loved him in Star Trek. I thought he did a great job. So I'm just curious, like, what is he going to be? Is he going to be a warrior, or a wizard, or what?
Yeah.
What part is he going to play?
And what's so great about him is that he could easily play any of those characters. So that's what's so great about it. He's not he's not typecast into, he's going to be a wizard because, that's just the way he is. No, it's
right. It's not like he's going
to,
and he's going to, The Rock's going to be like a warrior or something.
Yeah.
But he can go any way, so I'm curious to see that too. But it's so exciting though that all this stuff's coming out lately with D&D. I'm loving to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you had watched the previous Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out years ago with Jeremy Irons, but
yes.
Little disappointed. I mean, they did pretty good on some of it, but other things they kind of sucked on.
Yeah.
But with better writers and more interest and a bigger budget, and then plus also things like streaming television, such as Hulu and Netflix and stuff like that, they can actually do a very good job and pay homage to Dungeons and Dragons through a series like they did with Game of Thrones or other long series like that. So I'm very excited with how technology is finally catching up to the point to where we don't have to go to the movie theater and sit through a 2.5-hour movie that's disappointing because it should be 6 hours long, or something like that. So it's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, forgot to put that banner up with your stuff on there. Okay. And then you have Odyssey of Theros, and that's on Twitch TV. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. I got that right.
Yeah, it's twitch.tv / Companions of Strength. That's what we call ourselves, our group.
Okay. Companions of Strength. Great. Yeah. Yeah, ours is it's a twitch.tv / the Bipolar DM, and is our stream, and that has both this show on there, but also as well as the Bipolar Dragons spinoff on there as well.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out. That's cool.
Yeah, it's been great, a lot of fun. What I've loved the most about, especially with this 5th edition, is bringing on new players. Like half the cast has never played Dungeons and Dragons in their life. Mm-hmm. You know, they've always wanted to, and how quickly they picked up on it is amazing with this new edition. And you know, I'm really excited with where the stream's going. I'm really hoping that you know, with the next campaign that we'll be doing, you know, how that's going to go. I still got it percolating in the back of my mind. I haven't written anything down yet, but, you know, I'm still right in the midst of this campaign, so I don't want to start writing the next campaign without first tying up this one right here. But, you know, this mini campaign was mostly just to kind of get our feet wet and get these players acclimated to playing Dungeons and Dragons. And so looking really forward to checking out your stream and how that goes. That's really exciting too. And do you have previous episodes on there too as well?
Oh yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. All the episodes are on there. So
okay, all right. Well, I'm kind of up on the questions that I had written down, so I want to go ahead and let's go ahead and plug your book real quick, though. Again, where can your book be found, as well as where can your live stream be found as well?
Okay, all right. Well, okay, yeah. The first book is called "I Call Him Him," and the second one, part 2, is "The Angel of Death." And they're both available on Amazon exclusively. So you can just go to Amazon, type those names in, or you can just type my name, Scott Kimak, and they'll pop up. And then as far as the live stream, like I said, it's twitch.tv / Companions of Strength.
Okay, outstanding. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. It was okay. You came in a little late. That's all right. I was doing my intro anyway. So, but it's great having you on here.
We were rushing around. I live about 4 hours south of here, and so we were trying to get up here. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to get there, and so. But anyway, I'm glad that it worked out. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Oh, it was a great honor. I love talking to a fellow author and as well as a game player as well, too. So it's really great having you. I look forward to finishing your first book and then jumping into the second one as well. And then, of course, your third one, the third and final book of the trilogy, which will be coming out. When do you think about a year from now, or is about what you're looking at?
Oh, well, I don't know. I think I'll have it finished by the end of the summer. So, it's just a matter then, getting the cover and getting it properly edited and formatted and all that fun stuff, so, I don't know. We'll have to play it by ear, but it's not that far away.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be a year, but,
probably like Christmas.
Yeah, I think so. I think definitely before Christmas it'll be done. Outstanding.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I'm going to go ahead and put you in the back room there. You don't have to hang around if you don't want to, but I'm going to go ahead and tie up on this show here. But thank you again, Scott, for being on here. I really appreciate you.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. Thank you again for. I want to thank him again for having him on. This was just a great honor to be able to talk to another author and to share with what they're doing, especially with Dungeons and Dragons too. Dungeons and Dragons has been a great influence in my life. Has especially in recent years, with it helping me out with dealing with my mental illness and giving me an outlet and an escape to get away from what I have to live with. And so Well, we're going to be tying this show up just a little bit early, but let's see, got one more comment. Yep, the joy of publication. That's right, Robert. And anybody who has published a book, publication is a pain in the ass. You think writing a book is tough? Try publishing one sometime. It's the publishing part is really. Some people like it, I guess, but it can be really tough. And but I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is Jason, the Bipolar DM. I'm going to go ahead and go to a commercial, and then after that, we're going to go ahead and go to the outro credits. So thank you so much for watching.
Rainbow Soul, a queer perspective on spirituality. Join Hollis Taylor, a non-binary author, witch, psychic, and alchemical mage, with fellow drag king Lacrosse Ortiz, a Jewish Taino that identifies as an atheist. These guys explore deep spiritual topics with weekly special guests and offer dream interpretation and tarot readings and more. Explore spirituality beyond mainstream religion with these uniquely queer perspectives. Dive deep into the Rainbow Soul. A live discussion on Sundays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Sundays. Just hashtag Rainbow Soul Vodcast on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and more. Hashtag Rainbow Soul Vodcast. Featured on the LGBTQ Friends channel, the WLFE DB Network.
I just wanted to go ahead and before we tie this up to plug in that we do have merchandise available for the Bipolar DM show. We have t-shirts available, buttons, and stickers. You can find that we have our store opened up on Facebook. If you go to @Bipolar DM, that's the handle for our page, and you go there and you can check it out. And so the t-shirts are $20 each. Buttons are, I believe we have them at $5 and stickers at $3. So be sure to check that out. Also, if you want to become a Patreon supporter, we have Patreon. If you can do that, go to patreon.com/bipolardm. If you join up, you can get, there's goodies that we have at each support level. So be sure to check that out. And thank you so much for watching. And everybody remember, take your meds.
Thank you for listening to the Bipolar DM. They love sharing thoughts and ideas. See you next week, 7 p.m. Saturdays on WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows, and that makes for great talk radio. WLFE Digital Broadcast Network is on TV. You can watch all of our shows on WLFE-DB.com. Check out our channels. Paranormal View for all of your paranormal type shows. LGBTQ Friends for all of our LGBTQ shows. Variety Unlimited for all other shows. It runs 24/7 right on WLFE-DB.com. You'll even catch the lives, all in one place. Never miss an episode, past or future. WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.